Welcome, everyone. We want to thank you for taking some time out of your day to be with us. Come on, let's get to the root of it.
In these times that we live, we take strides to move forward. We strive to be more, stay strong and be focused. Start a while, we make choices, live or die. Take over starts at the root, and the truth may be hard to swallow. Step one, self-love above anything else. Unlock peace and happiness.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, and thank you for tuning in to At the Root of It. My name is Shannon, and on today's show, we are going to be discussing one of the I always say that all of the shows that I do is a very important topic, and I really believe that it is. But grace and mercy, I mean, that's one of my favorite topics. Anything that has to do with God is one of my favorite topics. And I wanted to really come on tonight, and I have a special guest. And my special guest is a longtime friend of mine. We've known each other since the 9th grade. She's known me in my innocent days before I became a thug and a roughneck. And I was talking to my sister about my friendship with her and with our other good friend, Michelle. And before I bring her on, one of the things that I did see as I was looking back over our life and our experiences, and I realized that I had a choice in my life at 13. I had a choice. It was like I had a choice of good and evil at the time. And Antonique and Michelle was the good. I mean, we did stuff that teenagers did, but it was all in innocence. It was never anything to be fast or be in the streets. We thought we was fast, but we really wasn't. I mean, the fastest we ever was when we danced to Is It Good to You from the Juice soundtrack, you know? But I was at a pivotal point in my life, and I realized that it was like I had a choice between good and evil. And I separated from them, but never separated from them because they were never that far away from me. But my life took a different path than Michelle and Antonique's. And that caused me to realize that was one of the pivotal moments in my life. But grace and mercy, you know what I mean? That's the title of today's show. So before I start the babbling, because you know I get to babbling and I keep going and keep going and keep going. I'm gonna introduce to some and present to others my dearest friend, whom I love with all my life, Miss Antonique Brown. So give her a hand clap, a clap. Hey. So much for being here with us today. Now, when I asked you to be on the show, you're a success story to me. You understand what I mean? Your whole life was a success story to me. You and Michelle. And I get to brag on y'all because I knew y'all, you know? So I brag on you. Like, I have friends that, you know, we would talk about different things. And I have a friend, and she said, well, my friend is, you know, most of my friends are either passed away or addicts, things of that nature. And I said, wow. I said, my friends are nurses and real estate agents. And, you know, I don't have that testimony. I mean, do I know people like that? Yes, but my immediate circle, whom I call family, they're thriving, and I'm like kind of the one at the bottom of the totem pole because I'm the late bloomer, you know. No, I can accept it because I'm slow. You know, I'll be slow on the take sometimes. It's okay. You know, better late than never. But it's neat. Hi, baby. Thank you for being.
Hello. It's an honor and a privilege. I feel
So
like, especially for us as the culture, we don't have platforms and opportunities like this often enough. So, absolute honor.
we really don't, and I'm sorry if it's breaking up a little bit on my side. But Ann, I want you to. I told you I wanted you to tell people how we met. People don't believe, because people
Oh
really
my
don't
gosh.
believe the things that I tell them. They think that it's a game, and it's really not
No,
a game. So
it's
from ninth
not.
grade, she's gonna let you know something real quick, okay?
So you meet Shannon. I don't even remember like the scenario, but it was, I'm Shannon, I'm from the Bronx, and I could fight. We was like, okay, Shannon from the Bronx, I can fight.
It's my catchphrase, y'all.
What's up?
It's my catchphrase. And you know what? I had to be like that because I like, if you watched any of my past shows, we moved around a lot.
It was the
So that was my
vulnerability.
defense, right. It was my defense mechanism. And basically I was just like, I gotta show them that don't mess with me so they won't mess with me. And then what they realized was that I was a fool, that I'm silly,
Absolutely.
that, you
A
know, I
sweetheart,
remember,
just loud and couldn't stay still.
look at the mama. Hi.
Hi.
This is the mama. Man, she used to yell at us. She used to yell at us. This is Pastor
Listen.
Renee, right? It's Pastor Renee, right?
Yes. She's living
Okay, so
her
let me
best
just throw
life.
in. Everybody's saying hi. Dion said good evening. Tange said hi. Tifa Teef, love you, baby. Your mommy, look at D talking about, hey, Aunt.
Hey.
So, oh, my sister-in-law said, hey, mama. So, Grace and Mercy, why did you, good evening. Oh, thank you so very much. Thank you. I appreciate that, because I didn't do anything that brought much, I don't want to say proudness, but you know, for people to be
Shannon,
proud.
I think that you don't give yourself enough credit, because, you know, the fact that you are still standing is enough. And people, if they really knew our background and some of the experiences that we had as children, even like, because remember, our parents were part of that great migration. We were all born in the city. And then it was like, we want a better opportunity, a better life for our kids. So we all going to move out to Long Island. But everybody had that same idea. So unfortunately, a lot of the crime and violence followed us to Long Island. So the things that we witnessed and we're still here, that's enough.
Oh, look, my sister-in-law said, please tell her. And Mama Renee said, you're doing the big things. Give yourself the credit. Thank you.
Yeah.
I give glory to God. Believe that. If
Amen.
it wasn't,
Amen.
I wouldn't be doing anything. Hence the grace
His
and the mercy.
grace is sufficient.
Yes.
His grace is sufficient. And I did Grace and Mercy, and it came to my heart last week when we were, because truly my life has absolutely been about grace and mercy. And for those that may not have that biblical background, grace is you have done your mission and you've been obedient, and grace is like your reward. Mercy is what God has for babies and fools.
Right.
And it's giving you something.
For a long time, baby.
and the mercy is giving you something that you may not necessarily deserve, but he loves you so much that he gives it to you anyway.
Yeah. And It's so funny that that you, not that you said that because we're on the grace and the mercy, but my pastor today, this is how we know that it's the end times, because he's preaching repentance. He's preaching, it's repentance and backsliding, and it was called Backsliding 101. And he was just he gave up all of us the opportunity to come up and just repent, not and to confess our sins, not one to another but to God. And one of the things that I said in my prayer to him as I stood at the altar was, God, I know that your grace is sufficient, and I know that we all have a thorn that you just will not take away from us, because it keeps us humble and it keeps us seeking after you.
It's the broken
But
hip.
I need you to shift something, Well, I need you to shift. You know what I mean? I get it. But for me to feel comfortable in the call that you called me to, I kind of had like a Hezekiah spirit, where Hezekiah said, God, I did this, I did that, I did this. I'm gonna die. And then he sent the angel back and said, okay, you got 10 more years on you, because sometimes we got to remind them and remember ourselves what we've done. But absolutely. I call this show Grace versus Mercy, an inspirational story, because my best friend, one of my best friends, is in their 30s, and I'm the oldest one. I'm like, I'm old. I can be your auntie, y'all. But
I'm older than you, so watch it.
By a couple of months, listen, guys. By a couple of months, just let me let y'all know. But
it counts. It counts.
It does. It does. You was here on this earth. You was doing. You was moving your arms while I was coming out the womb. But I have a lot of friends that are in their 30s. And your story, I remember so clearly. Oh, wait, look, Tangela said, here are your flowers. Dion said, love this. I just want to make sure that all of their comments come up on the screen. But and my disclosure for anybody and anybody that may be watching, I'm not trying to force my beliefs on anyone. I'm just telling you what has worked for me, what has worked for Antonique, and what has worked for a lot of us. We're not trying to push it, just giving you a different perspective on life. And my disclaimer, I'm not a psychologist. I go by my experiences and also by the research that I do. So just put that out there, because I never want to be held liable or accountable for somebody else's, I just try to get rid of the backlash before it tries to come. But like I was saying, I wanted it to be an inspirational story, because it really has been inspiring just to see. I remember getting that call, and I had asked you last week, like, how old were you? And how old were you?
32.
32.
I was 32 when I started my nursing career, and now I'm 44.
So when you first started your nursing career, right? Not to take away from the time before 32, because you were successful then. You had a business, and so tell us. I
appeared to be successful.
That's like your story, but it's not my story. So go ahead.
Well, you want me to start at nursing, or you want me to? Because you say that I was successful, but I appeared to be successful.
Well, speak on that.
Okay. Well, actually, I have to go back a little bit further, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And remember, we talked about those six scenes of life that bring you to present day. And I had to share this with my mom yesterday, because I didn't want. I hope Michelle's on so that she can kind of co-sign on it. But I didn't want my mom to hear this story on this platform for the first time. Mm-hmm. But when I say God's grace is sufficient and mercy is all over us, when we were teenagers, we were in this, we lived in Brentwood, which those of us that are from the area where we were like by 111. So unfortunately, the area began to really decline. Wasn't the best circumstances. And Michelle and Michelle
That's
and I
how I
went.
got. That's how I got caught
Yeah.
up.
Michelle and I were hanging out with these two young ladies that were not probably should not have been a choice as far as a friend, but you're young, so you just want to be cool. And we didn't have gangs back then, we had posses. So,
Right.
so we was hanging, but we were cool with like this. Little did we know, they called themselves LOD, and that was the posse, and we was like the little sisters. So we was like, yeah, that's what's up. We're so cool. We're hanging out with them, not knowing or understanding until we were older how unbelievably destructive this organization was. So Michelle and I were invited to a house party, and we went with these two girls that were not didn't make the best choices. And we were literally like in the way the houses are is like, it's not quite a basement. It's the lower level of a house, but like it's halfway. So like if you were in any type of, you actually had to climb up to be at ground level.
Right.
So we're watching these girls, they start to interact with the other guys that are there. And me and Michelle are like, wait a minute. This is not what we signed up for. Like, what is going on? And Michelle and I always, anybody that knows us knows we would, Mom used to call us the Bobsy idiots because we would just like turn into Larry, Harry, and Moe. We like bumping into each other and squeezing. We were young girls. We acted like young girls. Like you said, we wasn't really grown. Please. So anyway, this guy tells us, now, yes, these girls were like beginning to do like sexual things. And we were like, wait a minute. At the time, we're like 12, 13. Right. So the guy's like, well, you can go in that room. And Michelle and I, we're like crying, praying, God, please. Because we already knew this was about to really, really be a bad, bad situation. So the guy that came in the room, well-dressed, but he was kind of like, it was like a front where everybody thought the guys that we were hanging out with, the main ones that we saw all the time, like they were in the thick of it. Nah, he was the main connection, like right there. He was the kingpin, period.
Right.
Little did we know these girls were being pimped out. It was a situation. So the guy comes in, there's money, there's all kinds of stuff. I mean, we're just like, oh my God. And the guy comes in the room and he's like, what are y'all doing here? And me and Michelle was like, somebody invited us and we come. And the guy was like, y'all don't belong here. And you don't belong with them. Go home. And I had to laugh about it because I remember back in the day, like I was that track girl. Like, and I ran. Yo, I challenged that 100-meter dash all the way. Yo, I broke my record like 4 times. I promise you I did.
I know you did.
But I ran home, and the ironic thing about it is that what you do in the dark comes out in the light. Because I was running and I was so afraid that I ran across 111, which is a very busy intersection. But in running across 111, I got spotted by my mom, my crazy West Indian mom, and my little brother. And because I was defiant, I got in trouble that night. And I remember just being so angry because I was like, she doesn't even realize I saved my own life. And yes, girl, that part. I saved my own life, and I get, oh, hey, that's Toby. That Will Tony is D Brown. That's my ex-husband. That's my ex-husband. It's okay. It's okay.
Hey.
And it's good that he's on because
good.
We have such a good relationship, myself and my ex-husband. We really, really do. But that, I guess that was like my first my own memorable episode of mercy. Little do people know that right after that, I did get pregnant with my older son, who is now 24. I got pregnant with him when I was 19. And when I tell you that I'm glad my mom and Toby are both on, because what a lot of people don't realize is that I was I had stroke-like symptoms, and they found a cyst in my brain while I was pregnant. So when I was 7 months pregnant, I underwent brain surgery.
My, I didn't even know that.
Because there's a lot, because when God's grace is sufficient, you don't have to go around. It's like, what do you do with it? You've been given that grace. You've been given another chance. What do you do with it moving forward?
Right.
So I remember being in the hospital and them telling my mom that, my recovery was going to be long, telling my mom that we don't know how this is going to go. My mom and Toby were so upset with me because they said, in the event that something happens, who do you want? And I'm 19, so I can make this choice. And I had the choice between saving my life or saving Damon. And Damon was always the first choice for me, to the point that I actually had to sign a DNR to make sure that they didn't try to revive me. And because I just knew that God had such an incredible purpose for him. He was here for a reason. I had gone through so much to fight for him from the beginning. So it wasn't a matter. And literally, like, Toby jumped off the elevator and just his heart couldn't take it. And he was like, it was just too much. And we're young. So how do you handle that at 19 years old? And my mom, let me tell you something, her and she got a friend named June. And they started a prayer tree like nobody's business. Shannon, I walked out of the hospital a week later.
Look at God, and look, Mama Renee put 1 Corinthians 12:9. To another faith by the same Spirit, to another the gifts of healing by the same Spirit.
Yes. So mind you, like, this happened after those of us that went to Brentwood High School. I mean, that's when we really began to witness death at its most horrific presence. We watched a classmate of ours, William Byrd. I say his name all the time because he can't be forgotten. But he was the victim of bullying that got out of hand. And he was attacked. And this kid, like, we're 14, 15, our whole life is in front of us. And you go to take attendance one day and they're not there.
Right.
So we began to really experience death at its most grotesque state. We had the guy that got shot in the candy store. We had shootings and stuff like that. So it became like everything that our parents were trying to get us away from it was right there in Brentwood.
But is one of the things, though, and I thank God for this, is that when we got to high school, well, Ann can attest that we've been in church all our lives. And
amen. And we did it on our own. We did it on our own. Voices of Hope was definitely that window for us. But then even what happened is that even with the Voices of Hope, because it gave us something and we weren't out there in the street. And Mrs. even when we
wanted to play,
she did not play. She did not play.
The whole without our grades being on point. She would call our parents if we was out of order, out of pocket. Like, we kind of gave ourselves boundaries at that time. Like, not to say that we were as kids, but we still had a perimeter where we would not overstep.
Still to this day, I still think that we still, because of that foundation, we still work. I know I do. I still work within that perimeter of knowing that every step I take, there's a choice that comes with it. And with that choice comes a consequence.
Right.
So that was definitely.
I remember God telling me, what you saying that, I remember God telling me one time, it was a couple of years ago, he said, if we thought about the consequences before we did the action, we wouldn't do a lot of dumb stuff. If we thought about the consequences first, not just, what I want to do, but what's the outcome of this? If I do this, what will be the outcome? If we thought about the outcome, it would stop us from doing a lot of dumb things, because we've already seen what could possibly happen. It's those thoughtless times when we don't think about what happens next, So absolutely. I want to forward. I want to fast forward to you and Toby getting married, you having Damien. And mind you, when I didn't see her until I had my daughter. This is now
Yeah.
this is crazy because I didn't go to her wedding. It was like stuff. Like we lived our lives.
It was about a
But
10-year span
yep.
that we
But
were not in
when
contact. But when we got back together, we just
I had my
right.
baby, she popped up on the scene like kaboom. Guess who stepped in the room? Like real quick. And
What you mean? You good? Like
yes, like, oh my God, you had a girl. What do you do with girls? I got a boy. That's all I remember. Like, oh, you got to do that? No powder? She was shaming her like, what? I'm not supposed to put powder on her? No, don't put
my
powder.
goddaughters, it was the same thing. Like I was just
Right.
like powder, boosh. They were
Right.
like, no, don't do that.
Don't do that. Right. But I want you to fast forward to
The wedding and the marriage.
Yeah.
So when Toby and I left New York, it was me and him against the world. Like modern, I'm not gonna say Bonnie and Clyde, but like we held it down because we knew that if we didn't have each other, that was like it.
That was it.
And yeah. So I just remember like him always, and even remember he was always in like this grind and this hustle, and like one way or another, it may not have always been the right way, but he made it happen. Because one thing he did understand, because we learn how to behave based off of our experiences, and even though we're unguided, untaught, we try to make a better way. We try to establish a different pattern of life. Right. So he was always, one thing I can never take away from him is that he was always present. He was always a provider, still to this day. And that was his goal and his focus. And he was just like addicted to not failing, if that makes sense to anybody. It should make sense to everybody. His addiction is to not fail. And ultimately, that has been the greatest downfall for us, for him, just as a whole. So at 28 years old,
you put so much pressure on yourself.
You put exactly. And you're just kind of like spinning your wheels. Like, exactly. So here we are, 28 years old. And I'll never forget when we went to Virginia, he was working with this company out of Long Island. So he went from that to like, he was slinging CDs and like, he didn't care. And this is when the FBI was like, yo, we catch you with counterfeit, we going whatever. And I'll never forget, he was working with this Asian man. And he was like, I don't care. And he was like, let's get this money. So he went from that. And then I was like, no more. I was pregnant with Tyree. I was like, what am I supposed to do with 2 kids and no daddy? Like, we going something else. That's when he got into the cars. He got into the cars, and in 3 years, I think it was 2 years. In 2 years, he made this company $1 million. And he was like, yo, if I made them $1 million, I only made 5. And he started doing the math real quick. He was like, yo, I'm gonna do this on my own. What's up? And I was like, okay. Now, that was between the ages of 26 and 28. By the time we were 28, we bought this massive house in Virginia, huge house, beautiful. Our house, when we had over 100 people, I mean, girl, there was like Range Rovers, Maseratis, BMW, Mercedes. I mean, like, they thought we were, no lie, they thought we were drug dealers because of the company we kept and the things that we had. And we were so young. But not for nothing, it was kind of like we were hood rich. And, you know, hood rich is that rich where you have money in front of you, but like you have nothing long term. You have no real asset. You have nothing solid. What people don't realize is that, yeah, we put $50,000 down on a house, but yo, our interest was bananas. We had a $3,000 mortgage. Like, and we knew, once again, if we didn't make it happen, it wasn't going to happen. Right. It afforded me the opportunity to be able to stay home with our kids. Like, our kids, they went to private school. I was at home. And again, he was the provider. He was going to grind. And what we were never going to do is be hungry or be without. But everything comes at a cost. Everything comes at a cost. And there were things that happened that him and I really had to work through. And it was, again, mercy, because we didn't deserve it. But God was like, I'm going to give it to them because I know that they love me. So fast forward, I was like, the bottom fell out of, we had like that recession, and I realized like everything slowed down. Cars started slowing down, everything slowed down. And I was like, my family doesn't have medical insurance. I don't know, I got to do something. I promise y'all, I never wanted to be a nurse. Like I never thought about being a nurse. I went and I took an entrance exam, and it was like, here, just take this test. And it's called a TEAS test. That's the entrance test for exam. And I got almost a perfect score on it. They were like, so today's Monday, this class starts on Thursday. What's up? You want to be? And I was like, yeah, wow. Sure, why not? Literally, like, that's exactly how it happened. Because remember I told you, I was like, Shannon, I'm going to school.
I'm going to school for nursing. She was like, you should go too. I was like, nah, ain't my cup of tea.
That's exactly what happened. That's exactly.
Nah, I can't do it. My bedside manner is bananas. It's not gonna be a good look.
But you know something? I felt the same way, because anybody that knows me is that I'm really not a people person. I'm not like that outgoing, warm, fuzzy. Oh, I wanna. That's not me. I'm a very analytical person. It has to make sense. I need to put puzzle pieces together and make it fit. So I'm done with LPN school, because that's where I started out. I'm done with LPN school and I'm in a rehab. It's baseline. And I was like, there's this oncology organization that they're hiring, and I remember telling this nurse, her name was Bridget, I'll never forget, because those that say no to me are my greatest motivation. Like, I need you to tell me no. I need you to tell me what I'm not going to do, so that I can be like, here you go.
You're so rebellious in a good way.
Thank you for doubting me.
Like, oh, really? Watch.
Really. So I went, and there were only 2 LPN positions, and I got one of them. So I did that. And then in 2012, we came down to Florida for 2 weeks on a family vacation. And I just turned around to Toby, and I was like, so I think I'm going to move. I'm moving to Florida. And I don't know what it was. I just had like this overwhelming, I was like, I'm out. I'm leaving. That was
cold too.
Too much. But I just felt like I could breathe. And it was something about Florida that was freeing to me. So I was like, yo, I'm out. And that was in November of 2012. Damon had this horrible knee injury. That happened January 30th. February 8th, he was in surgery. June 23rd, our stuff was packed. I was crying.
Look at your mother say.
No, I did not. It's too hot. My mom was like, we're going to move to Florida. You should come. I was like, I'm not going down there. It's too hot. I don't want to do that. I'm not. No. I'm going to go to Chesapeake. That's where I'm going to stay. No, I'm out. I'll never forget my friend. Her name is Soja. Oh, my God. It hurts me to talk about her, but I love her so, so much. And she means everything to me. I call her So. And I called So up, and I was packing up the truck, and I was like, So, I don't know what I'm going to do. My soul is burning right now. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I shouldn't be moving. So she put her 2 boys in the car. She was like, I'm coming over there. She rolled over, and she was like, there's no reason. She was like, God doesn't have to give you an explanation, but when he speaks to you, you listen, and you do. And God rest her soul. Like, she always gave me the best, little pearls, food for thought. She gave you stuff, and she's from Brooklyn too. So she gave it to me so rough and rugged that I had no choice but to understand it. And I was like, yes, thank you. Let me get in this road and make it.
Right.
So then when I got down to Florida, I realized that they didn't have the same liberties for LPNs, and it really pushed me because I knew I needed to get my RN anyway. I did a bridge program in my RN. I continued with surgical oncology, moved to the ED. Then I got my master's in nursing education. And here I am today. I am a professor.
Do you hear that, guys?
At a local university. And I am a clinical educator for a level 2 stroke center in Central Florida.
Yeah! I'm so proud of her. I don't know about y'all, but let me tell you something. I'm a person that I never wanted anything past what God wanted for me. Like, I never strived to do anything outside of my comfort zone. And for
You have to
you
move. You have to move.
to do it and do it with ease. Now, you didn't want to do it. Tifa said, awesome. But you didn't want to do it, but you did. And your tenacious spirit and your steadfastness, because it takes a made-up mind to start and go all the way. It takes a made-up mind. It takes somebody's vision that's set like flint. Like, you don't look to the left, you don't look to the right, you just focus on your goal. And that's one of the things that I really wanted to drive home tonight, because there's so many people that think that, oh, I'm too old to start this, or beat themselves down because they don't yet know what their purpose is in their life. Like, I tell people every day that I just grew up last year. When I turned 43, I became officially an adult, meaning my mindset. No, but because we can
because it's like you get a clue. You finally have a clue, and then you go based off of that.
We can be an age but still be immature. You know what I mean? And a childlike mindset. And I really, really understand that that's where I was. But in order for me to get here today, to even have at the root of it, to even have vision, I didn't have vision. All I wanted to do, and my sister can attest to this, all I wanted to do is, everybody would ask me, Shannon, what's your 5-year goal? And I would say, to walk in the call that God has called me to. I was so heavenly bound that I was no earthly good. You understand what I mean? Because, God wants us to live in the land of the living and have houses and land. He wants us to be in health, even as our soul prospers. He wants us to have the good life that he set out for us to have.
But you have to be open to the mission. And it may not always present itself the way you're looking for it. Sometimes it's a piece of coal that you have to love, and it needs the pressure in order to develop into that diamond. And even so much as, even with, I'm going to be honest, and Toby's here, even with the divorce, where people are like, oh my God, you guys, we're okay. Like, we were together from 15, but we relied on each other so much, it became toxic and too much. So the split was the best thing for both of us. We have an amazing relationship. We have a legacy with our boys and our grandson that we are still so incredibly committed to. We still, like I shared with you, we're in the mourning process over a very good friend of ours. But that's something that we still have together. Like, you can't, one thing that happens too frequently is that they'll have something that will happen in the past and be like, oh, I can't stand, and oh, no good, blah, blah, blah. And there's no way that I could ever be like, I hate, I can't stand, I can't, blah, blah, when I have the best part of you. Like, you gave me the best thing in my life, which is my boys. And then from that, we have a grandchild. So how could I not forever love you, forever embrace you, forever support you? Because that's the issue, and we can't break each other down. Like, it all needs to be a growing experience, because what makes it void and what makes it in vain is if there's no lesson that's taken out of it. What can you take from it?
Thinking that, and as I was raising my daughter, right? I will go through things personally, and my daughter would go through things. And my first question, it would never be, why did you do that? I wasn't that mother.
What's the lesson? What'd you learn?
What did you learn? Because you have to have a checkpoint in your spirit of, I remember when I felt this, what happened? Like, I wanted her to understand that she can determine, like, she got in trouble when she was 17, right? She was at Long Beach, and she wasn't supposed to be there, right? And at 4:00 in the morning, they getting tickets and stuff and the cops pulling up on them. She calls me. All the kids with her is like, oh my God, you're calling your mother? She was like, I am calling my mama. Are you serious? Like, my mother's going to tell me what I need to do and what I need to know. And
because they have to feel protected. They have
Yes.
to feel protected. We have to, like, in the world, and that's the other thing, is that as a community, just like period, the world can never know. Like, the world will never know that I'm upset with anybody that I know and love. That's just not their place. Hold on, I think I'm gonna lose my battery.
But while you're doing that, I'll just say this, that when we were growing up, our parents were rough on us, right?
Oh yeah.
And they were rough, but they wasn't. Like, they allowed us to be kids.
My mother? Oh no. My mother was a beast. My beast. My mom and her burgundy hair would be down out in the road. Anthony! And I'm like, oh my God.
Yes. But still, I think with us though, you know, us three, we still had a tight unit. We had a tight unit, and with that tight unit, like, when I finally was able to get back in contact with you and Michelle, I was the most happiest. Like, when they came out with Facebook, I think that you and Michelle were the first two people that I looked up, because we had lost the connection. And
well, you know, Michelle and I lost connection for a long time too.
I didn't know that. Like, y'all still talk compared to me and Michelle. I think you and I.
No, honey, I only got back with Michelle maybe 2 years before I got in contact with you. And I had not seen her from when I had Damon. Like, she came to my baby shower when I was pregnant with Damon, and she didn't come to my wedding. She didn't know about my second child. She didn't know any of those things. So
Tifa said, where purpose is unknown, abuse is inevitable. We must find our purpose. And we do.
Absolutely.
We really do. And
100%.
I didn't understand. I really didn't understand. I thought I was walking in my purpose. I didn't know. I know that God told me back in 2001, he told me to go get his sheep, right? So automatically we think that God, that right when he says that, right, that is like right then and there, but he has to groom us. We have to go through some things. We have to learn about him. We have to learn about ourselves. And I think, like, with your walk with, you said you was hood rich, but you knew, first of all, I just want to put this out there. Miss Antonique has been Sadiddy since 9th grade. When I tell you, girl knew that she was gonna have money, I just want to let you know, and please, Mama Renee, please let me know if I am wrong. Toby, am I wrong? She already knew that she was going to be somebody. You know what I mean? look, Toby laughing. She knew it. You know, from the grade, like, I knew that she knew that we all knew that she was gonna get to that money somewhere, somehow. So it was not a shock to me that y'all was hood rich. You know what I mean? It wasn't a shock to me that y'all found y'all niche. Look, Mama Renee said, no, you are not. Because it was like money come through. Like,
at that time, I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about, like, at that time, because the facade, like, we made it look so amazing. I mean, you put lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig. It's still a
pig with a lipstick on it.
That's all that it is. It's a pig with lipstick on. And that's what our life was. It was a pig with lipstick, because there was so much like, and again, like, we were so about, like, making it look good on the outside. But when you came inside those walls, it was, I mean, there would be times we'd be like, what are we going to do? Like, Really, what are we
And
going
you know
to do?
what? I like that you said that, because there's so many people who look at the external picture that people paint of themselves,
And
and
you can't,
and
because
don't
there's so many elements that are behind it. There's misery, like they might have it, but are they happy? Like truly, is that happiness? Is that, and then here's the other thing is that as Christians, we always like, oh, it's the enemy. It's the enemy. Is it the enemy or is it the inner me? Because you can't give Satan credit, because nothing happens without God allowing. And sometimes we just get in our own way. So is that us or is that the enemy? That's the inner me doing the damage.
Right. And I know that I've gone through many lessons because of the inner me. And me and my sister was just talking about this the other night, how we go through cycles, and we don't really call it cycles. We normally in church, you will hear people say, oh, we going around the
hills
same
and the valleys. You're going through the valley.
But we go through these cycles, and we go year after year after year, not realizing that there has to be a shift in the mindset. And although we hear it, it doesn't become like a rhema word or applicable until it's your time for it to be applicable, because I really believe that there's divine timing. I know that a lot of the things that if you were to look back over my life, you would call me stupid, you would call me immature, you were irresponsible, which I was all of those things. I was all of those things. But in those times, God was teaching me. He was molding me. He was grooming me. He was showing 100%. Me. He was showing me. I had on-the-job training. So can't nobody take my testimony. Can't nobody tell me that God is not real, because every step of the way he has taken me from.
Well, you can't tell me that because I'm here.
Right. I'm still here. And I don't look like I've been through, baby, because I've been through the muck and the mire, and I'm still going through it. You wouldn't even believe, where I'm at. But where I'm at physically and where I'm at spiritually are two different places. And
absolutely.
I don't put my stuff, I don't put my life and my love into things. I put my life and my love into people, because that's what God showed me my purpose was. It was for the people. When he told me at 22 or 23 to go get my sheep, I didn't understand that directive. I just thought, okay, go get my sheep. Like in my walking, in my wrong decisions, I was getting sheep. Like, I can't wait to see my crown, y'all. Like, I really can't wait to see my crown. But wait, Toby said, when you're young and uneducated, making over $100,000 a year with no one ever teaching you how to manage your money, we were the definition of that. And
absolutely.
Totally, because
I'm going to be 100%. I'm going to give you some real deal numbers. You ready? We owned a very successful dealership. Y'all ready for this? We made, and Toby co-sign on it, we made $2.8 million with an M in 1 year in revenue.
Nice.
And our lights got cut off.
What?
That's what I mean. And that's where he's saying is that when you have, and it wasn't, now understand, $2.8 million in revenue, that's not what you're bringing home. Right. That's the amount of money that went through your business. So we're doing 6 figures, but we doing lavish vacation. We buying diamonds. We buying furs. We're like, yeah, we're taking the family on, day trips, limo rides through, we went to Manhattan. I mean, we took the kids to FAO Schwartz on a shopping spree, the Macy's Window, Rockefeller Center. And they toured all of Manhattan in a stretch Escalade. Like, that's what we were spending our money on.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then you come home and your lights are off. Yeah, but it's just like, because you never had it like that, that's what in your mind, your idea of success is, not in, and it's not even so much as generational wealth, because not for nothing, the lessons the food for thought that we can give our children, that's where the real wealth is, because you want it to continue. You want that to perpetuate and the lesson to be learned. And I'll tell anybody, I did enough for you. Let me take the lesson for you. And that's why this platform was so important to me, because you never know. Like, I never want, especially our women, to feel like, women of color, to feel like it's just them and it's only them. And I'm in such a, listen, I was not in the best situation when I got pregnant with my son. It wasn't right after I had him. Like, Toby and I were not together. I left and went to Georgia for 6 months. I was by myself. The fear of rejection and being a single mom brought me back to maybe not necessarily a situation that was best for me or him. And we are both mature enough to admit that now. And then I had a volatile relationship with my mom. So, you know, God really had to work on me and say, you know, I understand that all of these things have happened to you, but what's your part?
Right.
So I had to come to my part.
Right.
Yes.
Always
I had to take responsibility for my part, and I had to accept that I had to do something different. So we all have goals and dreams. So in order for you to have something you've never had, you have to be willing to do something you've never done. And some things that we've never done is just to step out on faith.
And I can attest to that, because at the root of it is a step out on faith. I asked God what my purpose was. And I tell my audience and I tell my viewers all the time, like, ask, write it down. I'm going to have journals. Look, I have the journals right here. They just have to be I have to put my logo on it, right? But I have my journals. They are here. But I want people to get their journals and start writing, because a lot of times we can't find our purpose until we find out who we are as a person and what makes us tick as a person.
Well, we have to look in the mirror and be honest.
Right.
The first thing we have to do is that before we confess to other people, we have to look in the mirror and be honest with ourselves and really look at the person that you are. And do you want to be around you? Do you approve of the things that you're doing? If you are on the outside looking in, are you somebody that you would want to have different interactions with? And it's difficult, but very important.
And it is very, very important, because you have to self-check. If you don't self-check, and you're right, T, this is my favorite saying, and if anybody can attest to it, my daughter, my sister, to thine own self be true. Like, I've said that for years, because I have, if I can't tell myself the truth, I'm not going to tell anybody the truth. And that's, if I can't be real with myself, I can't be real with anybody else. And everybody else is fake jacking out here. If you can't tell yourself that was a stupid move, that you shouldn't have done that was selfish, that was rude, that was mean, or whatever the case may be.
I was like, you were so wrong for that. You should not have done that.
You should not have done that.
Go back and say apologize.
And saying sorry does not make you weak. It just makes you actually very smart. And
makes you strong and aware.
Yes, I don't mind saying sorry, and I don't mind saying you know, my bad. I'll say my bad, or I'll say this is maybe for you, baby. That's for you.
Yes, that's sister in Spanish. That's my yes.
Right. So you know, but when you take accountability for your actions, and what I did, I asked God. I said, I like to decorate. Yes, I like to make things. Yes, but what am I good at? And the obvious thing is talking, because I'm always running my mouth. Like, it was so before me all this time. Every time I got in trouble in school is because Shannon was talking. You know what I mean?
She got me in trouble, y'all. She got me in trouble in school because she passing notes, and we 2 rows across from each other, and she talking about psst. I'm like, everybody can hear you. Yes, everybody can hear her, and they like Antonique, and I'm like, word, like, for real, y'all. What's for me and Shannon is just like, I just want to make sure we have the note.
Right, Tifa, can I whisper? Tifa like, Shannon, you can't even whisper. Look, she said they can't
No,
whisper.
she's horrible at it.
But I'm telling you, and for God to even show me, give me I want to just give this to everybody out there too. I asked God to give me the blueprint of my life, of what He wanted from my life. I asked for the blueprint because I can do a lot. I can do a little bit in a lot of areas. Okay, I know a lot about a little about a lot of things.
A lot of stuff.
So
Yeah.
what's my niche? What is my lane? And he said, at the root of it. But I had to get to the at the root of me, which meant I had to find out what made Shannon tick. And I say to you, Ann, that at 32, right, I think that that was what makes you tick. Even though I'm not a people person, even though my bedside man would be like, just lift up your arm. You okay? Good, bye. You know, I don't know if that's your bedside man or not. I don't know if that's your bedside.
It's not.
But I don't know if mine would be. You know what I mean? But
I've actually had.
And not staying at the LPN level, because so many people take that and rest.
Because you become comfortable and they're like, oh, I can do this. But I knew that I was so limited. And nurses eat their young. It's an unforgiving and unmerciful, and it's either you know it or you don't, because they will come for you. Right. And I was tired of people coming for me and me not having that appropriate weapon. You know, I needed my sword. And my degrees, all them elemental P's behind my name. That was my sword.
I'm so excited. Like, I love this. I celebrate everybody. When I tell you, oh, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. She got elemental P's behind her name, y'all. Don't y'all understand how big that is? That's huge, humongous. Huge, big. You know, I just love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And look at Toby said them letters. Yep. And Toby said that she is an amazing nurse. And your sister said, you got to be ready to receive the answer when we ask God to show us the blueprint. God is so faithful, and we got to prepare ourselves for the answer. You better say that right. Say it louder for the people in the back.
Let me tell you about Maylene. That is my little sister in spirit. And when I say, and what's ironic is that we're not related, but we look alike. We do look a lot alike.
I'm proud of those letters. I am too. Maylene, high five. Definitely proud of them letters, boy. And that's why I had to do a show. I'm like, people don't even know who she is, but they're gonna learn today who Antonique is. You know, my aunt. But I swear, now we're getting close to time, right? So I just want. Did you say that you had 6 points? That you had some points?
I actually covered my 6 points.
Okay. So with that being said, I had asked her to just give a little word of advice to us, because she is a nurse and we are in the middle of a pandemic.
We are in a surge. We are in a surge. The surge is real. I am mourning. I'm mourning a couple of things. I had a friend that I had 2 friends. Both of them were just amazing, are amazing men. And put on the vent because of COVID. And when these people go on vents, y'all, it's not a pleasant thing. One had a history of asthma. He was, sick. The other one, strapping, healthy, both fathers, both had families. And my friend Coco, the guy with the asthma, thank God he's here for his daughter and he is recovering. But both of them were on a vent for an extensive period of time. Unfortunately, my friend Coco did not make it. Just an amazing, good man. Just a great man. And we're hurting a lot because I'm here to tell you that nurses, we're tired. We're mentally and emotionally exhausted. We are wearing COVID. It is so heavy. And it hurts to see people suffering unnecessarily. And I say unnecessarily because I respect, as long as you get your information from a viable source and you make the decision. I'll be honest, I'm going to be transparent. It took 6 months, and I actually told my family, wait, let me look at the research. Let me see the trends. I want to see what the ongoing side effects. And sure enough, I chose Pfizer, and 2 weeks later, Pfizer was FDA approved. But it took 6 months for me to give the okay for me and my family to become vaccinated. But I respect and I understand those that choose not to, but behave as though there is a surge. Behave as though there is something that moment that you just feel like you have to be right. And, you're tired of that piece of material being over your face. Is so much better to have the option of putting a mask on and going out in public and keeping yourself safe and having some type of barrier than not having a choice of having a tube going down your throat, because most people don't make it off of the vent. I'm being 100%. Any medical professional will tell you that. Once we put you on the vent, the chances of you coming off of it is slim. It's very slim. I'm not going to say slim to none, but it's very slim. The success is not great. And it's so important for you to treat this. And something, people are like, where is your God and where's it? But if you look in the Bible, so many times God implemented a pandemic because he wanted the people to come to him and believe in him and trust in him. And God gave the blessing of knowledge on science and gave the blessing on the hearts of all these medical professionals that are here. And we're dedicated because we've been here through the entire surge from the beginning when it happened. And we showed up to work every day, even when we got sick, even when we had to bury our own loved ones. I have no choice. I don't have the opportunity. I have moments like this where I come on for a moment, but then I have to move on because I have 400 nurses under my watch that need me to be their clinical educator and to help them get to the next moment so that they don't fall, they don't put themselves at risk, and they don't put their families at risk. I have students that need me to be present so that I can teach them the appropriate way to handle themselves and how to protect their families. So if I can't ask you to do anything else, if you're not going to do it for yourself, for the nurses and the clinicians and your loved ones, take that time to just protect yourself and behave like there is a pandemic and it is not a social free-for-all.
And I thank you for that. I thank you for, like Dion said, I think children. But Maylene says she's a nurse, a counselor, a best friend, a mother, a sister, and so many other things. Listen to this advice. It can save your life. And Dion says, sorry for your loss. Tange gave you hearts and prayers. Thank you for your service and all of you in the medical field. So I just want to thank you so much for gracing me with your presence today, in spite of where you are mentally right now with the deaths that's so close to you. But I hope that this message reaches everybody and people really get what we was talking about. And I know we were all around the board in some areas, but I hope that you get the gist of why it's such an inspirational story. God will bring us to things for a reason. And I hope that everybody will find their reason. And remember that grace is sufficient. Mercy is renewed daily.
Amen.
Mercy is renewed daily. We don't we don't ask for it. He just gives it freely to us. So we need to really take advantage of the mercy that he gives us on a daily basis and try to be the greatest person that we can be for that day. We don't have to worry about tomorrow because tomorrow will take care of itself. But every day, start that day as if it should last. And
Oh, it's just not promised.
it's
It's
really
just
not
not promised. It's not.
And you really and don't take people for granted. Because
The grudge is not worth it.
It's not. I mean, me and my sister, we had a petty argument last Tuesday, right? And I didn't speak to her that Tuesday night. And then the next day, I called her and she wasn't answering my phone calls. And I wrote her and I said, I don't care if you're angry. I don't care if you're mad. Get over it. If I was to leave this earth today, you would be sad. So get over it. And she called me. Because
but at the same time,
have to get out of our feelings.
We
have to get out of our feelings, and we have to understand who we are to people. Like, you know, we can be mad for no reason. And it'd be a stupid, I mean, really, it was literally a stupid argument on both our parts, not just mine, not just hers, but just in general, it was just dumb. And it escalated out of nowhere. But if we would have allowed anger to stem us, what if I was going the next day? What if she was going the next day? We couldn't say sorry.
But at the same time, when you do have issues, and this is something that happened between me and my mom, because my mom and I had a devastating breakdown in the relationship. But some things do need to be addressed. And you can't hold somebody accountable. And I'm mad at her. I'm not talking to her. You can't hold somebody accountable for something that they may not know. They may not know why you're mad at them. It may be a bigger deal to you than it is to them, but you have to communicate that, because that's in how we teach people how to treat us. And in doing so, you set that boundary and say, well, it may be okay for you, but it's not okay for me. And that truly may not be their intention. I can tell you that Maylene and I have had fun, and it was not my intention. We've hurt each other, and it was never intentional. But it happened. But we had to have that discussion. The same thing with me and my mom. We had to have that discussion in order to say, okay, well, this is where we went wrong. And communication is the key, because we're not like, it's just not promised. And there's no way that we can know. And I mean, we have COVID that is taking people out like left and right. So we really don't have the time to just not be speaking because you don't just feel like speaking.
Without even telling them what the ought is, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like God said, you know, if you have an ought with your brother, take it to him, you know?
Exactly.
Take it to him. You know, you can't think that that you're doing a Jedi mind trick. Like, why I'm mad at you. No, I don't know. It could easily be like a small gesture or something that you said, the tone that you use, you know, and it could be something minor or major. However, effective communication is necessary, especially in these times. I just really want everybody to really, you know, love on the people who love you. You know what I mean? And even love on the people who don't love you. The reason being is because love abounds, grace abounds. If he's given us grace, we too must show forth that measure of grace to others. That's the only way that it's a balance of give and take. You must, what you want to receive, you must give out. That is the law of it. That's how everything keeps going. But we can continue to go in. But let's just get in here real quick and just go over all of the comments really quick, and then we're gonna get out of here. So Tangela says, another great show. Thank you, ladies. Dion says, Sean Sistrunk, you remember Brown? Who's that? Brown. Sending all the love to both. May the Spirit of God send peace, and may he clothe you both in his righteousness. Hallelujah. I receive that in the name of Jesus right now. Mama Renee said, awesome session. Thank you so much. D was laughing at me because I was like, that argument was really petty. He said, West? I was like, what?
Wait.
Growth through
Growth and
accountability, yes.
yes.
Tifa, whose sister passed away years ago, she says, I wish I could hold my sister just one more time. Cherish your loved ones. Confront the issues you may have and choose to move forward in love. Right. Dion says, Anthony Brown from Long Island. Then she says, pettiness has to be put aside. Confrontation brings growth, and iron sharpens iron, baby. And Maylene, that's a great that's a great comment to leave off on. Iron sharpens iron. Okay. And get those relationships together. People who the people who you love, forgive. It's not worth it. I know
and the
that
forgiveness is for you. It's not always for the other person. Forgiveness is for you because it takes so much energy to hold on to that anger. And if you have somebody like me, like I know exactly why I'm mad at you. I know what happened. I know when the time it happened. I know what you was wearing. I know, I know it won't.
Yeah.
But that takes so much energy. It just takes so much energy to hold on to all of that. I have other things to do.
Also, please, all the new people, please support my channel. Please go to At the Root of It on YouTube, and please press the subscribe button, and subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Facebook. Share the videos. I will greatly appreciate it because it's not about me. The mission and my mission and the mission of At the Root of It is to create a community of both men and women who are on the journey of self-love and healing, because God is coming for a church without a spot or a blemish. But the spots and the blemishes that is in us are the abandonment issues, the rejection issues, the negative talk, the all of these things that kind of bind us and keep us low vibrational to not help us get and meet our God's highest expectation of us. He knows. He's walked out our walk. He knows our ending from the beginning. And we just have to have faith that we're going to see it to the end. So please, again, support my channel. I really. Oh, and my sister said, and the little bell is the notifications to let you know when I come on. Yes, please do. I'm going to have to join you one day. This is great. You sure can. Let me tell you something.
Oh, Maylene has a story, girl.
Listen,
Maylene, let me tell you. Oh, and hold on. I got to do a quick plug because Toby wrote a book, y'all.
Oh, he put that. Oh, I'm so sorry, Toby.
Toby wrote a book.
Because he said it right. Where you at, Toby? Where you at? You said it. He said, all in my book. He did say it. And I meant to, and I will promote. Let me tell you something. I promote for my people, because I want everybody to win. Everybody is winners in my eyes. Everybody is a winner. I'm not a hater. I will never hate. I will always congratulate. I will always celebrate because it feels good to know great people and also be known as a great person as well. So you get what you give. You know, if you can celebrate with others will definitely celebrate with you. So you give your flowers, like Tam said earlier, you give your flowers while people are alive. And I just thank you. I thank you so much for being a dear friend. If I need somebody that's going to tell me the real truth and be on my behind, I can guarantee it's out of these two people. It's Antonique and Miss Natifa. That's my accountability partner as well. Like these two people have known me since high school.
Art and Hustle Refined. Art and Hustle Refined. And it is truly, that's Toby's book. And it's available on Amazon. And it's his story as far as like the yin and yang. And that's kind of what it is, because the ironic thing is that even though we're divorced, the book is, he gives this scenario and then it's his audience that's giving the background. So like I did some playback, his mom, his brother, where it was like, this is the situation that he presented, but this is everything that happened in the background. So it is truly, it's also a story of inspiration, and there's a lot that goes on. And again, it goes to show that you don't know what made the outer appearance is not always what's on the inside. So it's good because it's purging like this. This is an absolute amazing purging session, because I've learned in my season time to allow myself to be vulnerable, that it's safe to be vulnerable.
It's safe. And it's freeing. It's freeing. You're not bound by the restrictions of other people's thoughts and stuff. So what? I don't care. I feel like this, I understand it, and all I get understanding. And I understand that I feel this way, understand that I act this way, understand that I do this, and I understand now, what do I do to change it? Whatever it is. But he put the link in the description. So please go check his book out. Subscribe again to YouTube and click the bell for all notifications, please and thank you. Mama Renee says she subscribed. Thank you very, very much. I really appreciate it. Here's the link for his book right here. D said, Aunt definitely keeps it real.
We have the best conversations when we come to Jacksonville.
Yes.
I'm only supposed to be getting cupcakes, and I ends up being there
eating
for hours.
And crackers and talking about transparency is liberty. So on that note, God, all right, Lord. On that note, guys, I would like to thank you for another, as Mama Renee says, session of At the Root of It. We will be here, the same bat channel, the same bat time next week. Again, please subscribe. Please share with the people that you may need this type of information. I think everybody needs it, but share it. And till we meet again. I love y'all. See y'all next week. Oh, remember, we also do a viewer's choice. We do a viewer's choice once a month, where the viewer, this is kind of like my viewer's choice, because I allowed her to speak on the things that she really needed to speak on. And that was that grace and mercy. But you can always send in an email. You can send in an email at the root of it, ATROI community@gmail.com, and I'm going to put it up on the screen so that y'all can see it really quickly. One moment. Here it is. Create a banner, because I didn't put it up, but I want y'all that if Maylene would like to do if she would like to do a viewer's choice, that she can. And this is the email. At the root of it community@gmail.com. Also, keep a lookout for the website. It will be launching. I was trying to launch it last week, but I need more information. And pray for me. Pray for me that God sends me the people. Thank you for the donations that people have sent in. You know who you are, and if you like to donate, you can always email me at that place as well, and you can send it to PayPal, Cash App, things of that nature. But that's just to keep the vision of At the Root of It going, because this is not my mission, this is his. But again, have a good night, guys, and I love you so much, and we shall be speaking later. Thank everybody for tuning in tonight, and see you next week, guys. Love you. Bye.
Welcome, everyone. to the root of it.
In these times that we live, we take strides to move forward. We strive to be more, stay strong and be focused. Start a while, we make choices, live or die. Take over starts at the root, and the truth may be hard to swallow. Step one, self-love